It started with a smirk on live television when SNL's Colin Jost looked into the camera and joked that a new UK trade deal required America to keep these two. The audience erupted. It wasn't more than a joke. It was a cultural turning point, the moment a torrent of online whispers and dark theories about Meghan Markle's past crashed into the mainstream. This isn't a story about tabloids. It's a story about the weaponization of perception, about a digital ghost that refuses to be exorcised. And it all begins with a single controversial image. For years, grainy photos have circulated in the deep corners of the internet. They allegedly show Meghan in the mid-2010s before she met Prince Harry on a luxury yacht in the Mediterranean. Some of these images were even repurposed from her own lifestyle blog, The Tig, where she documented her travels with friends. But online, these vacation snaps were reframed. The guest list was scrutinized. A circle of influential, older businessmen. A growing movement of online critics has branded this the yacht girl narrative. They claim it's not evidence of a holiday, but of a highly strategic social life, a calculated entry into a world of power and wealth long before royalty was on the horizon. This leads to a more explosive theory, that Meghan's ascent to royalty wasn't a fairy tale, but a masterclass in social strategy. Before she met Harry, Meghan became a close friend of Marcus Anderson, the global membership director for the ultra-exclusive Soho House. This connection, critics argue, gave her a passport into an elite transatlantic world. They point to her presence at exclusive parties in Miami, her friendships with figures like Jessica Mulroney, and her ability to navigate the inner circles of Toronto and London's high society. To her supporters, this is simply the networking of a successful, ambitious woman. To her critics, every handshake and party was a chess move, mapping a path to the very top. If that were true, then managing the narrative of her past would be everything. Just as her royal life began, Meghan's digital past was systematically erased. Her blog, The Tig, where she had shared personal thoughts on everything from food to feminism, was shut down in 2017. Then in January 2018, her personal Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts vanished. The official reason was royal protocol, but critics call it a digital disinfection. They point to instances where friends like jewelry designer Jennifer Miller were reportedly told to remove photos of Meghan from their promotional feeds. Even her Suits co-star, Patrick Adams, deleted a nostalgic photo of them together after it caused an online frenzy, stating he wanted no part of the insanity. When you wipe the slate clean so thoroughly, it begs the question, what was on it that needed to be erased? In the face of these resurfacing questions, Meghan's team has chosen a powerful weapon: silence. This is the same woman who, along with Harry, famously sued and won a major privacy case against the Mail on Sunday for publishing a private letter she wrote to her estranged father. After that victory, she released a powerful statement, saying, "We all lose when misinformation sells more than truth." That history of fighting back makes the current silence deafening. Why legally challenge one set of stories but ignore another? To her critics, the silence isn't a strategy, it's a confession. And that silence created a vacuum that was filled by an entirely new kind of investigator. This story is no longer being driven by paparazzi. It's being written by an army of citizen investigators on platforms like Reddit, in subreddits with names like Saint Meghan Markle, a title used with dripping irony. Users spend hours cross-referencing old blog posts, analyzing flight manifests, and using facial recognition on old party photos. They connect social media check-ins to yacht locations and overlap event guest lists with her known associates. They see themselves as truth seekers, uncovering a hidden history one hyperlink at a time. For years, their work was dismissed as conspiracy until one joke changed everything. When Colin Jost delivered that punchline on SNL, he did more than get a laugh. He took the Reddit threads and YouTube theories and broadcast them to millions. It signaled that public sentiment, especially in America, had shifted from sympathy to skepticism. Suddenly, the idea of a PR princess who reinvents her past wasn't a fringe theory anymore. It was a mainstream punchline. It opened the floodgates for other comedians and shows, from Family Guy to South Park, to take aim, cementing her status as a figure of public satire. And that's how Prince Andrew's name got dragged into the narrative. It's a claim based on zero credible evidence, relying on misidentified photos and 6 degrees of separation. Fact-checkers have thoroughly debunked any connection between Meghan and the disgraced prince or his associates, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But in the absence of answers about her past, the most toxic theories have found fertile ground. For her detractors, it's the ultimate gotcha, an attempt to tie her to the royal family's biggest scandal and paint her as a destructive force. It shows that when the official story has holes, people will fill them with whatever they can find, true or not. Ultimately, the controversy isn't about any single photo or rumor. It's about the growing chasm between Meghan's public brand and the person her critics believe she really is. From The Tig to her Archwell Foundation and her Archetypes podcast on Spotify, her brand has been built on the pillars of authenticity, empowerment, and transparency. The relentless stream of allegations strike at the very foundation of that image, creating a crisis of credibility. When your brand is "be true to yourself," accusations of a hidden, manufactured past are uniquely damaging. This crisis has been amplified by what many see as a series of PR missteps. The tightly controlled Oprah interview, the glossy Netflix docuseries, and the carefully curated social media presence, these were designed to reclaim their narrative, to tell their story in their own words. But for a growing portion of the public, these efforts have backfired. Instead of appearing authentic, they've come across as performative, a multi-million-dollar exercise in image control with PR firms like Sunshine Sachs. Every polished statement and perfectly framed shot intended to build a wall of defense has instead been seen as proof that there's something to hide. And the result is the slow unraveling of her poor story, the narrative of the hardworking American actress who found success on the show Suits is being challenged by a more cynical tale of a strategic operator who networked her way into the global elite. It reframes her ambition not as a virtue, but as a relentless, calculated campaign for status. The story of a woman who fought for her place is replaced by one that critics allege simply played the game better than anyone else. This firestorm of controversy leaves us with a difficult question for the digital age. Once a counter-narrative takes hold, can the truth ever be untangled from the theory? When your public image is built on authenticity, what happens when the audience stops believing? For Meghan Markle, the punchline on SNL was just the beginning. The real test is whether her carefully crafted story can survive the verdict of the internet, a court where suspicion often speaks louder than fact, and where there is no statute of limitations on your past.